these barriers of discrimination that are there now. I don't think we saw different nations as being Muslim or Jewish or this or that. We didn't see any of that. They were just people like us. They were people. So what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Fear instilled in us by the media and the world affairs back then, like we do now. Like, the thing that always blew my mind when I moved to Australia is that people would, like, when I got there, people would call Aboriginal people black fellas or whatever. Now, where I'm from, an African guy is just called John. We don't refer to him as the black guy or the Pakistani guy. They're just John, Jim, and James. Like, and back then, the whole world was like that. They were just like, well, we're not going to call you a Paki or,
Yeah.
an Indian. You're just Ragish or Jeff or whatever. Like, we were a pure, I think we were a global community back then.
Yeah, definitely.
We were more connected back then and less connected online. Now, the more we're connected online, the less we believe each other and connect offline. And we have this, we're living in these echo chambers thanks to social media, which everyone now has an opinion. Like, no one back then, you could stand for right? It was men and women, right? It was black and white. Now everything is a divisive behavior, right? It's, Black Lives Matter. What about all lives matter, right? Like everything now is
And
like
transgender and
yeah, you have to pick a side now. It's not, you don't get to just exist together, you have to have a side. And back then, when I used to grow up and watch mum with her business stuff, there was still the same atrocities happening in the world on certain levels, like Israel and Palestine back then in the 90s still had the same issue now, right? The
Yeah.
famines in Africa were still happening then. But it wasn't something you chose a side on. It's something that you collectively felt sorrow for and you wanted to change. And I think what I watched growing up with my mum is she was always in service of others, and that's where people get sales wrong. People people decide that selling is to make money for themselves, whereas my mentor Reg taught me selling is serving. You're literally there to heal someone's problem, not try and rip them off.
Mm.
But in sales now, a lot of the online stuff, it's rubbish. It's mumbo jumbo. It's just whatever I can do to make money off you, whereas selling is a serving. And what I've watched mum all her life do with whatever she did, sales, marketing, care work, whatever. It's always been how do I help someone? Right? Like we lost the ability to be selfless and got stuck
Mm.
in selfishness of what do I get out of it instead of what can I give you?
Yes, and I love the approach of your mother that she's gone over there to all these countries and Middle East countries with her open heart just to connect with the people first and then to start sharing what or to negotiate what she has. So it was another more pure human communication moments. It was
Mm.
yeah.
I remember I took mum on the way back from Australia a few years ago when she visited. I took her to Dubai.
uh,
And we got there and she was walking around looking and going, when I used to come to Dubai,
It was the
none of
desert.
this existed. This was just a desert.
It was
When,
the desert.
90s, eh?
80s.
80s, you're in Dubai.
80s.
It was the desert. And I remember in Dubai when I was there, and like the buildings were really old and everything. And of course, all the men dressed in their robes, and the women, you didn't see the women outside very much at all. You didn't see them. And I just remember knocking on doors and these men opening the doors and looking at me like I was an alien or something, like where
Yes.
did this person come from? It was just I was fascinated by people's reaction to me, but also people's um, amusement, I suppose, in some ways, and also curiosity, because what was this person doing in my country trying to sell me photocopiers? And she's a woman in her late 20s and doesn't even speak my language.
Exactly. So, can you tell us again how about your sales journey and about what is the one characteristic that a salesperson can have, I mean, could have in order to increase their sales, let's say, ability?
I think what you were saying before, I think, you know, I do think your facial expression is really, really important. I think, they say you have like 30 seconds to succeed in a sale. 30 seconds. You've lost them if you don't succeed in the first 30 seconds. So I think, you stand straight, you show from your face you are here to do something, but you're here to do it with their cooperation. It's not
Mhm.
about being combative, it's about cooperation. And you show all of that in your face and your body language. I think your body language, there's so many people that stand like this or stand with their hands down their side or look very wooden. I
Yeah.
think you have to look relaxed. I think expression with your hands, because I know the Greeks do that a lot, but I know, Mediterranean people do that a lot. The expression with your face and the expression with your hands, I think in those 30 seconds can almost guarantee you the sale.
Okay, and how you leave the home? What is it was your mindset before when you open the door or when you open the hotel room in order to visit, to go and to make all these appointments and strong, heavy, tough negotiations? What is your mindset? How you say now I'm going over there? What is something that any thoughts of that period?
Well, I prepared very well.
Hmm.
I've always been a list lady and a preparation person. I don't go in cold to anything. If I have something to do, it's like with interviews. It's really funny because I worked for a tech company here a few years ago, and I went into the interview with them, and there was the CEO. There were like all the big guns in the company. There were six of them there and me. And when people line up like that to do an interview, I think it's the worst thing you can ever do because it's like they're trying to say, prove it. Instead of being cooperative, they're being combative, really. And I went into this interview with this tech company. And the one thing I've always taught Daniel, and the one thing I've done, every company I've worked for, I've asked for a reference when I've left them because I've never left on bad terms with any company. So I've always asked for a reference. And also, I've asked for references from my clients. And so I have like a whole book of references from all over the world, from different companies and different clients that I work for. And I went into this interview with this tech company, and I told them a funny story, and they were really shocked because a few years earlier than that, I went to work for an investment company as a marketing person, and it was at the time that technology and telecoms was taking off, and everybody was buying the shares in technology and telecoms. And I, my boss said to me, how much do you know about the internet? And I said, oh, it's really interesting. I mean, I didn't know much at all, but anyway, I said, it's really interesting. He said, we think we should develop a website to promote our funds. He said, would you like to do it? Like develop the website. We'll give you the technicians and you develop it. And I said, yeah, I'll have a go. I'll always have a go. I'm a have a
Mhm.
go person, right? So we developed this website and it was enormously successful, enormously successful. And one of the biggest Israeli banks called Bank Hapolim, they have an office in New York. And one of the head guy in New York saw our funds and he bought millions of dollars of our funds. And from that, my boss said to me, look, I think you need to go over and meet this guy, because he's bought millions from us of our funds from this little website.
Yeah.
So he said, and then when you're there, after you've been to New York, we're going to fly you to Houston to meet the website developers of the company to see if we can do something. I said, okay. So I went to New York and I met this guy from Bank Hapolim in the Avenue of the Americas in New York on the 600th floor or something. And we had a great meeting. He took me out for lunch in Times Square. And then I flew to Houston in Texas to meet the website developers and then came back home. So I went into this interview with these people, these tech people, and I told them this story, and they were like, you know, their mouths were open. And then I said, and just in case you need any references about what I've done in my life, here you go. And I gave them my book of
The book.
references. And they were like, and they started to look through them and they were like, is this real? Like, you've been to all these places. And I said, it's real. This is what I've done. This is me, my life.
So
So, you know, it's all about preparation at the end of the day. If you prepare, then you will succeed. If you fail to prepare, you will fail.
Which is what my biggest gift from the TEDx thing was not the TEDx thing. It was what you taught me, which my mum's always tried to tell me, but I've never been very good at embracing systems up until now. But the TEDx talk was not the gift. The gift was what you taught me about 4 months of preparation. And on the day,
yes.
zero nerves. Like I had no nerves. Like from the start to the finish of the whole day, bearing in mind I was the second to last speaker, so I had to wait all day. I had nothing, like not one minuscule butterfly, nothing. Because in my mind, it was like, if I don't know now what I'm going to say after 4 months of wrecking Roxy's head, I'm never going to know. And it's something mum always did and tried to tell me I've never really done enough of with prep. It is what I learned from preparing our TEDx talk was the importance of preparation and drilling and redoing and drilling and drilling and drilling and getting it right. You go out there on that day and you actually can be present and have fun.
Yes. Danny, any advice about to the future TEDx speakers? Any advice for them, what to think about it? Let's say that there is a TEDx speaker that now for 2026, what they have to bear in mind?
Don't make it about yourself.
Mm.
Like it's your idea, but it's not about your identity.
Mm.
Like, don't make it about yourself. And especially on the day with your 11 other speakers or however each format is. I'm assuming it's 12 every person. I'm sure the format's the same. Like, find a coach, a very good coach like yourself that actually cares and like knows what to do and supports you. Remove your ego because ego stands for edging God out. Like get rid of your ego, get rid of your big pompous thing of like, oh, I'm going to be a TED Talk speaker. No, if you go into it like that, you'll fail. Just know your idea matters, but know your identity doesn't. People will get to know you through your idea. Most importantly, be of service to others on the day. Don't worry about yourself. Like, I didn't have any anxiety, one from the prep, right? But I think, secondly, because I promised myself that morning driving there, I was going to support the other speakers if they were worried or over. And outside of the 11-year-old, every single one of them was a mess on the day. Not as in like negative, I mean, but just
Nervous.
they were really, I mean, we're talking about some of the speakers you've seen that were on my day there, Roxy. They are top level corporate speakers, and they were a mess. Like they were like so wound up as it was getting closer.
Mm.
And by being in service of each of them, I had my essential oils there. I was doing the breath work. I was a little
Yeah.
bit of coaching. I was just giving out the hugs to anyone that wanted the hugs. Making that whole day about others is exactly how you should also approach the preparation for your talk. Make it about the idea that helps others, not about the idea that makes your identity matter.
I like the differentiation about identity. because we are what we are, and this will not influence our identity, or it will not characterize us. Yes, I totally agree with this.
And I think the other thing as well is, I mean, mine was it's probably not going to be like this for everyone, because mine was literally about adversity intelligence. And then obviously we know, well, you both know what was happening leading up to the talk in my personal life. So it felt like God was telling me, or the universe, or Allah, whatever anyone believes that's watching this, it felt like I was being made to live in my theory. Like I had to, but like, let's say it's someone else talking about cyber threats, whatever. I guarantee you, leading up to your TED talk, if you want to be a TED talk, if you want to be on this global stage, it's not enough for you to just think, I'm good at talking. You better be prepared leading up to it that life's going to catch you on the blind side, and you don't get to feel sorry for yourself. No one cares about what's happening in your personal life leading up to something so big professionally. So you better get used to the fact that no matter how well you prepare for your talk, you're never going to prepare for what life's going to do to you leading up to it.
Exactly. And about the things, how you remember and memorize things, practical tricks or tips, or what help you to remember the talk, that it is an exceptional talk, and we will put the link below for the people that they want to watch this.
I think, I actually didn't end up practicing it. It's really strange. Um, I sent it all to mum and everyone, but I never practiced it in front of one person in the end. Like mum wanted me to run through it with her. Did I do it with you once?
Yeah,
No,
you did.
I did once. But
Yeah.
but I actually ended up never doing it in front of anyone. Like, I mean, obviously me and you did it because that was your job. But what I'm saying is, I actually saved it for the day. So first thing for me was I didn't practice it in front of anyone, because here's the thing, I had to block out the noise, because I had my partner's a communication expert for a start. So at the beginning, I said to her from the very start, I don't want any feedback from you because you're going to confuse me. Roxy's the coach. She knows what she's doing. So that was a good boundary to set, which Anya was like, yeah, no worries. Then I had it, so I recorded once we scripted, and I recorded it to send to you. I would play that again and again and again. I'd walk. You have to become obsessive for this short period of your life. Like Jordan said it, I think when we were on the chat, remember we all had
Yes,
the
I
video?
remember. Yes.
And he said it was kind of frightening and inspiring, because wherever I went, in the house, in the office, all he was doing was boom, 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 boom,
Yes.
boom. Repetition will remove any sort of anxiety. You have to become obsessed. To be on a TEDx stage, I kind of feel if you've made it to the final 12, surely you have some level of obsession with your idea. My idea felt like what my mum would have felt like going to work every day to keep me in a good spot of my life. It may, like, my idea matters to saving other people's lives or changing their lives. To do that, you have to be obsessed. So wherever I went, I'd have the physical scripts, and it was folded in 6 places and in my pocket. I'd have my headphone in. It would be playing my voice, repeating again, boom, 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 boom. Then I didn't do it like, there's all these fancy things I looked up, like, like of ways of learning. Like there was all manners of stuff. I didn't do any of it. It was too confusing. It was like, let's just do the blood and guts of this, right? Repetition, repetition. I'd go for beach walks and I'd take the script with me and I'd try it and I'd forget it, so I'd read it through. There is no cheat code. There's no magic pill. Everyone's going to try and come up with some. It's not going to happen. Like, wake up. You need to understand you have to become obsessed for 3 or 4 months of your life, and that could end up changing people's lives for the next 30 to 40 years because of your idea. There is no cheat code. You have to work hard. Hard work works. Working hard is what successful people do.
Exactly. I would like to take us on a journey for your TEDx talk, and about to focus on the roots, on your family, how your family played this role for you to create the TEDx talk and to be a TEDx talker.
My mum and my grandmother have never judged me, and I've given them many reasons to. They've never judged me. In fact, I remember once, mum had been headhunted by one of the biggest, are they investment?
Yeah.
One of the biggest investment firms in the world, like the world. And this global brand name had asked her to start their branch in Guernsey in the Channel Islands. So she had a lot of responsibility. Unfortunately, in the island, they have a very unhealthy thing of putting people's names in the papers and naming and shaming them when they just do silly little things and get in trouble with the law. We're not talking high level things, we're just little things. It's not very pleasant, but they do it. So I remember when I was having a bit of a tough period in my life, and I unfortunately got caught with a small amount of cannabis. It was nothing major, it was just a small amount. But when I came to after being arrested and whatever, I remember thinking that I would going to get my ass kicked by my dad, but mum would be fine. I told dad, and he just said nothing and just smiled and went, "Good luck telling your mother." And I was like, that was too easy. Mum will be fine. I told her. She pretty much didn't talk to me for about 4 or 5 days. And when she calmed down, she said, I don't care if you've hurt someone, you've murdered someone, you're in a gang, I don't care. But if you don't tell me, I will never be able to help you. So don't ever hide anything from me again. And I've always had a very open relationship with my mum and my grandmother and told them pretty much everything that most kids avoid. I think the ability for my grandmother and my mother to allow me to share anything and everything in my life. You know how parents are always like, don't do drugs or drink or don't get in a whatever. They would be like, look, we can't control you, but you need to tell us so that we can help and support you. I think every parent should do that. But yeah, though the way that my grandpa, well, I suppose both my grandparents, but I don't have huge memories verbally of me and Papa. Like I remember loads of things he did with me as a grandfather, and he was amazing. I don't remember a lot of verbal because my memory doesn't go back that far. But obviously, my grandmother,
Oh, he was a man of few words anyway
yeah.
after the war. So
But my grandmother was just wow. Never ever will be anyone ever like her again. And mum's been the same, and I guess just having two strong women in a life lived with not many strong men, which as a boy or a man you kind of need, has taught me more, and the emotional intelligence that females give a young boy or a man is why I think I have such high EQ. But also, I think the other part to my roots is I'm not saying this is wrong from other parents, but I think that a lot of parents condition their kids to grow up and do what they want them to do. My mum always said, I don't care what you do. If you don't want to have kids, fine. If you don't want to buy a house, fine. I don't care about any of that. Do me two favors, be happy or strive to be happy always and travel. Outside of that, do what you want. I think that more parents should do that and stop telling kids when you grow up, let's do the checklist. You should be married at this point. You should have had kids at this point. You should have bought a house at this point, blah, blah. I just think it's very unhealthy and it makes children rebel and it makes them go in different directions that they shouldn't. Whereas I've pretty much lived my life in those two areas because mum told me that's what she wanted. I think a lot more parents should start taking away the need for their kids to be vicariously living through them. And I think my TEDx talk, the things I've achieved in my life have all come because my mum allowed me to figure out who I am instead of telling me who I should be.
What is one common characteristic from your grandmother and your grandma and your mother? One common you think that there is one value or maybe one motto that you think that it's so for helped you a lot through your tough times?
I mean, be kind.
Mm.
To be honest, no matter what people do to you, just meet them in love. That's probably the thing that stuck with me from Nanny and Mum is just try to always be kind. And it's probably not always stood me in good stead because a lot of people have taken advantage of that kindness and hurt me a lot. But I still don't wish them any harm. I think in a world full of noise and divisiveness and, echo chambers, I think just being kind is actually the biggest commodity that you could hope to have and keep.
And what is one advice that you give to people that they struggle with addiction, in any kind of addiction, if it is a food or if it is any kind of addiction? Any
The,
advice?
the shame, the shame of not telling anyone you have it is actually the biggest problem. The more that you tell people and own that you are struggling, the more you'll set yourself free. So they say asking for help, right? I get it, but maybe you don't actually have to ask for help. Like, let's remove that statement. Just tell people what's going on in your life. Don't say to them, I'm addicted to meth. I need your help. Just tell them, I'm addicted to meth. You don't have to fill the air with words after that. I think the shame is what drives mental health for people. You think about it, right? No one used to even accept mental health, and now it's widely accepted. Addiction is something that has so much shame attached to it and so much lack of self-compassion. In fact, addiction is driven by a self-hatred. I mean, think about it, like, who gets up and decides I'm just going to destroy my life today for no reason at all? You must hate yourself a lot to do that. So I think that don't worry about asking for help. Just tell people that you have a problem. That's it. Stop it there. Don't say, and I need your help. Because most people don't know what to do and they freeze. So in just being able to say, look, I want to talk to you. I'm going through this stuff. I don't need your help. I don't need your pity, but I just want to be open and feel like people know why I may be misbehaving or doing what I'm doing. And just being able to say, this is who I am right now. It's not who I'm going to be, but unfortunately, this is where I've landed. And remove the shame, and the rest of it actually becomes a lot easier.
Exactly. And I would like now to combine with your mother and all the service that she's offering to her society from homeless people, and how it is that on Christmas Day you were out and helping and supporting people. What a big heart, what a big soul. What,
No.
I
Well, it's
mean,
my
this is
job.
amazing.
Now, I was actually working at home, so I take the calls when they come in. Um, I love the job. I love it. It's so rewarding. So um, I think Christmas. I think although I love Christmas, it's one of my most special times. But Christmas for so many people is the worst time of the year, and there are so many people who feel a loss at Christmas, even if they're surrounded by others. They feel a loss, and they don't know, as Daniel was saying, they don't know how to ask for help. So what they do is they start self-destructing. And while they're self-destructing, they're trying to figure out who can I tell? And interestingly, the job that I do is that's exactly what people do. They call and they just say, this is what's happened to me. Or the emergency services call us and say, somebody is about to commit suicide, or a child has been beaten, or an old person is being taken advantage of by their family. And none of them are asking for help, but somewhere in the darkness, someone's there.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you.
Rob's Phil.
Yes. Hope. So for me, for 2026, let's make a wish for all the people, one to each other, to give hope to other people, because what we are sharing, this is the key word: a
Yeah,
smile, a facial expression, a hug. Thanks needs hugs, Danny.
Hugs need hugs. Yeah,
Need
I
hugs.
can't. I think eye contact, like
yeah,
for 2026, if you want to provide hope, like I think we're living in a world where loads of people feel very lonely, right?
yeah,
And then you'll say to them, like, reach out. They're like, I don't have anyone. That's actually not true. You can go out of your house and you can go for a walk. And instead of putting your eyes down, I do this all the time. You can look up, and when you walk past someone, just say hello. How you doing? And then when you go and get a coffee, instead of just throwing the money at the barista, what can I get you today? I'll have a cappuccino. How is your day today? Are you good? Oh yeah, thanks for asking. I'm good. What about you? Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm blah blah. Like you go shopping for your food, you get your coffee, you go pump fuel at the station. People are everywhere. All you have to do is look up. Like it doesn't matter if you don't have any family or whatever. Like interacting as human. We just talked about it right at the beginning of this chat. Like back in the day, we didn't have a bias around people from Israel or people from Afghanistan. They were just people. So maybe we can get back to the point where everyone's just a person and we could just meet each other in love and like look up. Like that's all you have to do, look up and just
I
say,
think this is where, in the corporate industry, Roxy, this is what's missing because customer service is at an all-time low, really,
yeah,
because customer service personnel are not trained to be human,
Mm.
and they're not trained to welcome people, and that's their job.
Yeah.
And they're not trained to do that. And so I think in the corporate industry, they desperately need somebody from to train them from the top down, not from the bottom up, from the top down, because the people at the top are responsible for the awful customer service at the bottom because they don't know how to treat people.
no.
And so the people at the top need the training more than the people at the bottom.
Yes, because they are taught that if you have this strict face or you will so authoritative and everybody will respect you through the behavior, but they will not respect you.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Not at
Not
all.
at all. No, it's a complete fallacy. That's not
Mhm.
true. The best CEOs and the best people in very high places are the people who are always willing to learn.
Mm. Emotional intelligence is the number one asset in corporate and business in 2026. Most people at the top have no EQ. They've got no EQ, and you know what? They don't actually have any AQ either. They are missing. They have no EQ, AQ, or SQ, which is social intelligence. They only have IQ, and they think that that's the measuring stick, and it actually is not. And the reason workplaces are so messed up is these people at the top that have all the IQ have no leadership and do nothing but manage people.
But they're not managing people.
Well,
They're
no,
not
Yes,
even managing themselves.
yes.
They're not even managing themselves. And they're the people who are running the companies. So the company is bound to fail eventually.
Mm.
So let's close this beautiful conversation with a wish for 2026, each one of us. So let's start with mommy.
My wish is that your business is successful, that I have an opportunity to spend a lot more time with my son, and that I continue to live a very blessed life.
Exactly. I'm wishing to. Okay, let me share and then Danny, we leave Danny because he's the man.
Go on then.
So my wish for the corporate, since we mentioned corporate work, because we are all people and we are working in corporate, it is to increase our emotional intelligence and empathize other people and looking them in their eyes and ask them if they might need some help, or even to say, as Danny said, the smile, to
Yeah,
welcome them with our hearts, to welcome people in our lives.
yeah, absolutely. Very good wish.
Mm. I think my wish for 2026 is that we could put people over profits, putting people over profits in 2026 throughout the world, from governments down to corporates, down to small businesses. If we could put more effort into people and less worry over profits, you'd actually find that the people and the companies that do that will actually 5x their profits from doing it. The money that's made in business, in corporate or in governments is actually made from people. So if we actually put our people first, instead of chasing the money, we'd actually 5x our return anyway, which is the biggest irony of all. But instead, we have people climbing and clambering over each other. So I think people over profits, and I think removing the stigmas in the world around everything, addiction, mental health, disabilities, old age, and sickness, become a global village, as Richard Branson calls it in his book. Like, we are a global village, and it would be nice to behave like that more. Um, I would like to see on some level the downfall of social media, to be honest. I think it is a sickness, and I hope in 2026 people can live more in
Connected.
it, connected without connectivity.
For all of us to be connected, to have the courage to connect with each other. So we wish to you and your loved ones a happy, healthy 2026 and a successful year. Thank you so much for being here, and see you soon.